Good morning and welcome to Member Focus Monday. I'm Christina Schaefer, Director of Social Media for HAR. It is the beginning of October and we are right in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month. And with that, we thought it would be a wonderful idea to bring local NAHREP leaders to the program and tell us about all the great work they do and how every realtor can get involved. So with that, I'd like to welcome to the program Eva Campos, Olga Garza, and Ilich Ramirez. Welcome to the program, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking time to join us. I know it is a very busy month for you all. You've been traveling, you've been going to conferences. Ilich, you're joining us from Las Vegas right now, so it's very early. But we really appreciate your time and all of the valuable information you're going to be sharing today. So to our live viewers, this is going to be a really great show packed with information. Take a moment to share this with your audience so that other realtors can see this as well. Let's go ahead and dive in. I want to hear from each of you. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll start with you, Eva.
So I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams. I've been here 7 years. I'm also the 2022 past president for the North Houston chapters. I'm the immediate past president. I'm also serving now, we've come a long ways with that chapter. So now I'm also serving now at the corporate board of governors at the national level now with NAHREP. And then I've been fortunate to serve on the 2023 Texas Real Estate Leadership Program with HAR.
Very good. Thank you. And another current TRLP member, Olga, welcome to the program. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So my name is Olga Garza. I am a realtor associate at Nan & Company Properties, and I also lead a small team there called the OMG team. And I am the current president for NAHREP Houston. And also, like Eva, I am part of the 2023 TRLP class. So we're approaching graduation, which is exciting. And happy to be here.
Very good. And last but certainly not least, Ilich.
Hello, good morning. My name is Ilich Ramirez with EXP Realty, hence why I'm in Las Vegas. We have our conference this week. I am, in my past life, I was an elementary school assistant principal and teacher. I taught second and fourth grade gifted bilingual special ed, which is why I think led me to wanting to be part of NAHREP, because NAHREP is part of, it wants to educate the realtors in the world. And one of the big things that we did during my time in education was working with Hispanic families and the communities.
Okay, very good. So we'll start with you for the first question, Ilich. Tell us a little bit about NAHREP. How and why was NAHREP founded?
NAHREP was founded in 2009, 2008 as a response to the Great Recession, because during the Great Recession, one of the studies that was found by Gary Acosta, our founder, was that Hispanic families lost about 2/3 of their wealth due to the downturn in the community. So he then contacted a few of his friends, including Sol Trujillo. Henry Cisneros was the HUD secretary, and also involved Emilio and Gloria Estefan. And here, 15 years later, here we are.
Very good. Thank you for that history. I think it's good to know why this all started. Eva, if you could share with us just what are some of the main goals of NAHREP?
So some of the goals are to advocate for its 40,000 members, also homeowners, Hispanic homeowners. Also, we focus on state and legislative issues that impact housing, sustainable housing for Hispanic owners, and as well as our goal is always to empower the real estate agent or those in the industry so they can advance in their business as far as increasing home ownership for Hispanic owners.
Very good. Thank you. And I know we've heard some of the stats. Some of you might share this later, so I won't give it away now. But in the Houston area, the population, there's so many Hispanic people and Latinos in the Houston area. So this is something that greatly affects any member dealing with consumers in our area. Olga, the State of Hispanic Home Ownership, this is an annual report that NAHREP puts out. What are some of the current home ownership rates for Latino communities? And also, how have those changed over the years?
So yes, that is a very sought after report that's released annually at our DC conference in March. And this year, I don't know if you knew, Christina, that Houston was highlighted in the
Mm,
report. So all of the pictures and the other like of first time home buyers or step up buyers, they were all featured there. Real Houston Realtors were featured on there as well, including myself and my husband.
mhm,
But in regards to statistics, I can kind of give you some statewide to give it
mhm,
more of a local feel. 58.7% of Latinos are homeowners here in Texas versus 71.3% of the non-Hispanic population. Latinos are also responsible for almost 50% of home ownership growth in the state of Texas.
mm,
And more so locally in the Houston, Woodlands, and Sugarland area. Houston, in the past, I would say 2 years, has grown in Hispanic homeowners by 60,000 homeowners, and just in
oh,
the Hispanic population, just here locally in our
mhm.
area.
Mhm.
Very good. So, in regard to that growth, is there a specific city or area that we're seeing a majority of that, or is just that just Texas statewide?
So I know that El Paso is was ranked as the most affordable
Hmm.
because of the what they earned and affordability, housing affordability there. Houston area ranks somewhere in the middle in terms of like Texas cities. Obviously, your Austin and Dallas market rank further down because of their lack of affordability for the Hispanic population. Um, and yeah, that's I know the Valley is also a very hot spot right now as well.
Okay. And that is an excellent report for everyone to check out. We did share a link to the current report in the comments, so you can go take a look at that. But there's so much within that report. I'm curious to know from each of you, was there any information within that report that you found surprising or unexpected? And we'll start with you on this one, Illich.
Well, Olga just kind of gleaned on it for a minute, but for realtors in Texas in general, since we're certified, I mean licensed in Texas, 8 of the top 25 cities for the United States were Texan cities, and that's great. And they go from top to bottom, left to right. So everywhere in Texas was really highlighted in this report, which is exciting.
Very good. Eva?
For me, it was that 81% of NAHREP members are homeowners.
Yeah. And Olga?
I think for me it was that 40%, almost 40% of Latino households are multi-generational households, being that one, two or more generations live in the same household, whether it's your grandparents, great grandparents. We tend to kind of stick together and all go in on a house, and that's the important thing that NAREP educates you about, which is how to kind of cater to that specific consumer.
Very good. I wonder, does it say how that compares to other groups?
I probably does, but I don't
Okay.
have
That's fine.
it.
I was just curious because that is a large percentage, and we do see that trend. And builders are accommodating that trend now too.
Leading into
So,
that. Mhm.
yes, very good. Okay, excellent. So let's talk maybe about the not so pleasant stuff. Let's talk about some barriers to homeownership. So, what are some current barriers that exist for Latino communities when it comes to homeownership? We can start with you, Olga, on this one.
So, like, not just for Latinos, but consumers overall, inventory is a big hurdle because the lack of inventory, the more competition, and that's something that is still an issue.
Yes. And how is NAHREP educating members in regard to inventory?
So, in regards to inventory, I mean, there's not much we can do for that. Just there's different options that you can do. Like, we had stated earlier, the multi-generational households. Instead of everybody getting their own house, it might be where, we consolidate a household. and it just works out for a lot of the Latino population, which is good.
Finding solutions. Yeah.
Mhm.
So excellent. Okay. Eva?
For me, I find that it's affordable housing. So the Wealth Project report in 2019 said that the average Latino income was 36,000, and now in 2022 it's increased to basically 60,000, round off at 60,000. So be able to find affordable housing is a challenge right now.
Absolutely. We have a few comments coming in. And Charles Villafana said affordability is a major factor right now. So he definitely agrees. And as I'm looking at the comments, just to our live viewers, if you have any questions or comments for the group that you'd like them to answer, go ahead and type those in as we're having the conversation, and I will be checking for those. Ilich, same questions. What are some home ownership barriers that currently exist for the Latino communities?
I always look for education, and education is one of the pieces that I think is a barrier because a lot of people still think that you need 20% down to be able to afford a home. And while, Olga had mentioned that, we are multi generational, we just spent 3 years in the house with grandma and grandpa and mom and dad. We want our own house. And, that it doesn't take the 20%, and that's one of the things that NAHREP teaches. One of the programs that we have during the year are a version of Battle of the Lenders, which is basically we find out what all the lenders are offering. And if, for instance, we are also a community that has like taco trucks and we have like our own businesses. We
Very
don't know what
entrepreneurial.
paperwork we need. We don't know what paperwork we need to be able to afford a home. That's a piece of education that we offer whenever we have our NAHREP events. And it's golden because you may not be the typical W-2 person, but you can still buy a house. Come, and getting the realtors to be able to do that, we can do that. And of course, a lot of us in the Hispanic community and other communities as well that might be listening will also know mattress money. We know what to do with mattress money to make sure
Yes.
that it's seasoned and it's correct and it's legal and you can buy a home. And
Source.
and if you know that you could buy a home with 5%, then you kind of put off getting those shoes or that bag or that new iPhone, which
Yeah.
is where I'm at. Yeah.
Those iPhone commercials are so tempting, though. Yes, very good. Excellent points. Just a comment that came in from Jane, rental issues, paid in cash, no documents. How do you get them qualified just for a lease? So I think that's a great question if somebody wants to take that.
So that everybody has a cell phone. They need to. There's cell phone companies out there where you can get. It's just a matter of establishing credit. You can do it with the cell phone, with the car note, and try to use that as some kind of a credit history. Those are tough for leases. It's on a case by case basis.
Mhm.
I know lenders have gotten more creative with their lending products, with their mortgage products, in terms of like what Elich was saying, your no doc loans, when you're 1099, because we are as a community very entrepreneurial, and that education piece is missing because we don't know how to correctly be profitable. We're profitable. We have the money, but we don't know how to report that to Uncle Sam and be able to qualify for a loan. So,
You
yeah, at least
also there's a verification company that you can go through that will go back as long as you have documentation for. The documentation
it's
doesn't have to
Fannie
be
Mae or Freddie Mac. One of those has that. Yeah.
what she said for rentals. For rentals, there's ways to do it, and if there's ways of getting it done, and that's part of some of the sponsors that we have with our NAHREP events. They do those kind of things, which are kind of niche because that's most people have papers and or paperwork, but a lot of our families don't trust the big banks, and that's one of the conversations that we have to have, and also go back and show, okay, well, you have been paying your rent on time or your car note because a lot of our families do have cars. You can go back to the lots and it shows that you do have positive payments. And of course, but that goes back into the inventory issue too, where there aren't a lot of um, there aren't a lot of homes to buy, and there's also not a lot of homes for rent. So it becomes very competitive.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
I
Eva, did
would
you have
say,
something you wanted to add? Yeah, go ahead.
yes, I would say in respect to leases that I find that especially for the Hispanic community, they take pride in paying everything with cash. So they don't understand that in this city or in this state or in this country that we rely heavily on credit. And so the lack of understanding credit, there really needs to be more homebuyer workshops, education on credit, so that they can understand that credit really is their representation or their driver in getting them where they need to be when it comes in respect to leases as well as home ownership. But they really do rely on cash, and cash is not what's gonna help them get into home ownership and leases.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And we had a few comments that were coming in, so I want to just briefly address those. And I see a question in here too. Um, Martha just made a comment. We need lenders to offer different options for our taco truck and small business community. So it's right in line with what some of you were saying.
Mhm.
There was, I believe, this is a recommendation of maybe a program or a company. I haven't heard of it, but maybe some of you had. Claudia says, "Credit My Rent helps." So that might be an option for people to look into for their clients. Also, Charles made a comment, having a mortgage partner that understands our buyers is vital. So again, that kind of underlines some of what you were saying as well. And one more option that Claudia suggested for leases, there's the opportunity to maybe offer a double deposit. So that there's other options. Again, I think it goes back to what all of you were saying, the education and looking for solutions.
Yes, and I'd like to add that some of the mortgage companies out there, like Loan Depot, which is one of our sponsors this year, they also do free credit repair, which is a huge plus, because just partnering with a credit recovery company will it's another expense out of their pocket that they're having to pay each month, whereas Loan Depot does that for its clients.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And we did have a comment that came in that I would love to hear from each of you on, and your different respective groups might be doing something like this already and have a different approach. So I'd love to hear from you. Alex asked, what have you found to be the best mode of disseminating better information to the general population of the Latino community? So Ilich, you mentioned like programs or things like that. So do you want to take this first?
Well, when you're getting information to any group, like for instance, you have to be clear and respectful in whatever you're saying. Because with Mr. Biafana just said that you have to have partners that know how to get this information out, and that's also crucial when your partners give you the information as soon as it's available.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, one of our partners, Chase Bank, had, and of course they're more of your typical in the box people. They had a closing guarantee that during September, which is now over, it's over. Don't call me about this one. They were going up to $20,000 as a closing guarantee, and we knew this, and we knew that people that needed to close quickly and things like that. So it's getting the information out, and for us, we get it out through all of the mediums. To funny, not funny, TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. It's where the eyes are and where the people are, and if you have a friend that is going to be out there, you send them out the information. It's just like anything else. Every time somebody finds a good food truck, for instance, they're quick to tell everybody that we have to do the same thing with home ownership, especially if we know that they're in the market or might
Mm-hmm.
be in the market.
Very good. Olga or Eva, do you have anything you want to add there?
Yeah, I'd
I would
like to
say,
add that for
Go
me,
ahead.
it's basically I love doing monthly home buyer workshops and giving our sponsors, our annual sponsors like Chase and Loan Depot and even First Financial, or any lenders that are available for that matter, an opportunity to educate the public on the products that they offer and how they're going to help them into getting into a home. For example, Chase offers the $5,000 grant considering the area where it's located. So there's so many opportunities out there that we need to continuously educate the public on. Also, they're not always aware of down payment assistance programs, and how those programs work. So I think just getting continuous education is where I see the gap when it comes to home ownership.
Okay. Olga?
So I would say, without getting a little ahead of our next question, is just that what we do here at NAHREP is we empower the real estate professional, whether that's in insurance, lending, or in as a realtor, to better serve the Hispanic community. And so the way we do it is we first empower them, and then they in turn, go out into the community. So it's better, because you want to be sure to you're relaying the correct information, like Ilich was saying. You don't want to, have misinformation out there, that's going to maybe get some people in trouble, or prevent people from home ownership.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what we do. That's what we're held accountable for, is kind of relaying that information to the real estate professional.
Very good. A comment that just came in from Britt. What I'm hearing today is education, education, education. Absolutely. And with that in mind, I do want to just quickly mention HAR is having a housing symposium on October 25th. This will address critical issues impacting housing in the greater Houston area. So we did post a link to registration for that in the comments, and I would encourage people to sign up for that, because that will be helpful. But I would also love to hear from you guys on some things that your groups might be offering in the near future in just a moment. Before we get into it, I think we've already kind of stroked this with a broad brush a little bit, but let's specifically outright ask the question. Some people might not understand the value of the need for diversity groups such as NAHREP. So I'd love to hear from each of you. What would you say to someone that is questioning the need or benefit of diversity groups like yours? And we can start with Olga on this one.
So I would say address any misconceptions that they might feel. It's not about, it's about promoting inclusion. It's not about, I would say, reverse discrimination, because I know I get how people have those concerns.
Mm-hmm.
It's just basically addressing any misconceptions that they may have, and letting them know why the need is there. That was what I would say.
Absolutely. Eva?
I would say that because it is the fastest and largest growing demographic, that it is really, and it does impact our economy, that it's really important to align with what are the needs of the community and the people, so that they can be better served. We all can serve everyone, but the more that we know, again, it goes back to knowledge and education. Let me just give you an example. When I say working with Hispanic people, one of the main things they'll always ask you is, where can I meet you? I want to see you in person. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really important for them. Although we live in an age where everything is we're tech savvy, but they have to see you in person in order to begin that relationship of trust. If they don't see you and they can't see you eye to eye, they're really hesitant. They're really
Mm-hmm.
hesitant. So just understanding the culture of how trust is built goes a long ways, because once they trust you, trust me, they're sending you referrals continuously ongoing. They become loyal clients for life, and after a while, you're serving the entire family and the neighborhood and the employees and everyone around them. But trust is big for
Once you're in,
this.
you're in.
Yes,
Very
when you're in,
good.
you're in. Yes.
Illich, same question.
And I guess I go back to communication and education with everybody. You have to be able to tell them what's the truth. People don't like to be, told the rigmarole, like Olga was saying earlier, to get yourself in trouble when you tell
Mm-hmm.
people the wrong thing. You just have to, tell people the truth. There's also kind of going back to what Alex said, also that coming to our events is very important, because we all have very different events happening. We all
Mm-hmm.
kind of talk to each other. For instance, like last week when we were at NAHREP in Miami, we were always asking, like, what are your events coming up? And then, San Antonio is doing this, we're going there. Dallas is doing this, we're going to go there. And then, because we like to travel to each other's events, and also make sure that we bring back that information to our community and our realtor partners, so people know. And it's funny because at a lunch the other day, One of my friends was having issues with being able to get her client qualified because of a lender issue, and our lunch became a let's find a lender. And
Yeah.
if we pulled out the cards and just started going, and it was a productive lunch because we were like, hey, talk to this one, talk to this one, copy paste this, and send it to these four people. See who can do what, and that's a huge thing for people, especially if they've already told their apartment that they're going to leave, and they have 60 days to move, and we already have the solution for them, and it builds trust for everybody, and then gets people into a home and happy, and the kids get their own room, and they get to choose that and play in the yard in a month.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So let's talk about some of those events and educational opportunities more specifically, because again, you're all offering different things at different times. So I'd love to give you all an opportunity to tell us about what you have coming up. And I have somebody already asking in the comments, how do we join NAHREP? So we'll get to that question in just a second. So we'll start with you on this one, Ilich. What do you have coming up that members could look into getting involved with, or even non-members that are considering membership?
Coming up, we have our very educational Dia de los Muertos, which will be November 1st at 6 p.m. at Ambrisa in Katy. They have opened up the roof, and they're allowing us to use it. So we do that to kind of talk about one of the things that the Hispanic community believes in, which is the Dia de los Muertos, and that's November 1st. And then January we'll start our next items. Then we also do mixers every once in a while. We'll get together, and we'll talk about things like that. It's funny because like the last time I had November 1st with Dia de los Muertos, I met everybody. My face was done with makeup, and then they were like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I met you at Dia de los Muertos," and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I had makeup on. You had no idea who I was." So I had to tell them I'm Coco. Oh, Coco, and I was like, "So that's the first one." And, and so that's our next one, November 1st, Dia de los Muertos.
Very good. Eva?
So our next event is scheduled for October the 11th at 10 o'clock. It is called Financing Fiesta, where we will have a panel of different lenders. Again, when you think about the Latino community, it's not a one size fits all because a lot of them do own businesses. So we will have a representative who will talk about zero down financing for I-10. We'll also have someone who talk about DACA and all the other different variations and needs that we have that impacts the Latino community that they don't fit in the cookie cutter loan criteria most of the time. We need either bank statements or we need something else. And so this is a great opportunity to come out and learn and connect with these lenders so that you can close more homes. That's what it's all about. We want to educate you to be able to help you do your job and build those relationships and continue to put more people in homes.
Very good. Olga?
So our next event is October 30th, and I'm so excited about this event. It's Houston's Latinas of Influence. So I believe we're going to have Miss Kathy Trevino on there. We're going to have several. It's not just for the real estate world. We are going to expand because again, we are very entrepreneurial in the Latin community, and we're going to have several Latinas that have their own business or are of influence to our Hispanic community, and just kind of share their stories. So that's going to be at the Junior League Houston, October 30th. Tickets will be on sale soon, and it includes a lunch. And we hope to see everybody there. You can get more information on our Instagram or on nahrep.org/Houston, I believe. So yeah, we can't wait to see everybody. Also, one more thing I want to plug is our TROP, because Eva and I are in that
Yes,
um,
yes.
class. It's our 2023 class project. It's called Birdies for Brighter Futures. It's this 7th. It's a golf tournament. It's this Saturday, the 7th, sorry. And it's not too late to donate or participate. So please reach out to Eva and I or anybody else who's in our class if you want more information.
Great, thank you. And we did share a link to each of the NAHREP groups websites directly to the events section. So if any of those events around the Houston area sounded exciting or interesting to you, you can go find out more information there. A question that came in, something just I think the answer is no, but something to address here is, how are new chapters formed? Whitney's looking for something maybe in the Montgomery County area, for example. Does somebody want to go ahead?
So that's one thing that we should probably highlight is I'm NAHREP Houston, Greater Houston. Eva is where I'm assuming that would Whitney would fall NAHREP North, and Ilich is NAHREP Katy West. So we do, because Houston is so big. So if you get the platinum membership, you have access to all of our events. You don't have to pay the non-member fee to get into those events. But you can, we're all great chapters, and whichever one is closest to you, we go everywhere. So
very good.
Yes,
North
Houston is to go back to the answer to that question. North Houston is the closest to Montgomery County.
Yes, there we go. As people are asking about Waller or Cypress. So again, how are chapters created, or maybe just go to the closest one, I guess, that's available.
Yeah, at the moment there's only 3 chapters. Yeah. So, but anything in the north. I mean, I myself, I live in Tomball, Cypress area, but I'm part of NAHREP Houston. So we all serve the same purpose, and we all, try to provide value for everybody.
Excellent. So question that came in that I wanted to, I was going to ask you guys anyway. So how do they join NAHREP, and maybe what are some of the benefits also for joining NAHREP? Ilich, we'll start with you on this one.
And luckily, the name is right there, it's nahrep.org/join. And depending on which area you want to go to, I'm in Katy, West Houston. So if you want to do the Katy, West Houston, make sure you go all the way down to Katy, because alphabetically it's after Houston. And a lot of people join Houston and then they forget that we're Katy. But we're Katy, West Houston. And then with Eva, you have North Houston. You join, and some of the benefits are you get emails from our founder, Gary Acosta. He interviews a lot of interesting people from all over the world, and a lot of them in business, and a lot of ballers, for lack of a better word, that can tell you what it's like to be a business owner, and also a lot of important reports, like for instance the one we were talking about, which is the Hispanic State of Homeownership report. That this is this year's. Next year's will come out in March.
Very good. Eva, do you have anything to add there?
Yes, networking. It's one of the components of being able to become a member. You're out there networking. You're building relationships. You're attending opportunities where you're growing professionally, education. So there's a number of reasons why you would want to be a part of this organization, because this is a relationship business. So connecting with others is powerful.
Very good. Olga?
I would say, so that's a 2-part question. Becoming a member would be, you do get the great educational and networking events. On the other side, if you want to become part of the board, we all, I think, just had our board retreats, or should be having our board retreat soon. For me personally, becoming a part of the board helped me grow professionally. It was a great platform for me to work and hone in on my public speaking skills, which I'm still working on. But you get to know how to run a board. A lot of us won't ever know as a realtor or as a real estate professional how to ever do that. And so there's benefits like that you can do. And then we get our annual conference, which we all just came back from Miami this weekend, and that was a blast. We had speakers like Barbara Cochran. We had artists like Fat Joe. We had Oscar de la Hoya. Last year was President Obama. We've had President Bush before, Gary Vee. And it's that right there, that's where you go build your nationwide referral base too.
Excellent. Well, this has been wonderful information. People are thanking you in the comments. Panjwani Nasim said, Wow, thanks for sharing this great information. And I certainly agree. But I do want to hear from you all because, there's only so much time that we can take with you. And I know you have a lot more information to share. So, are there any additional thoughts, anything we didn't get to cover today that you would like to make sure that our audience hears? And we'll start with you on this one, Olga.
I would say get plugged in with your whoever makes sense for you. If you're in Katy, join Ilich's chapter. If you're in North Houston, North Harris County, Waller, Montgomery, North Houston. If you're anywhere in Harris County, South, that's Greater Houston. Whatever makes more sense for you, but just get plugged in because we offer a lot of valuable information for our members.
Okay. Eva?
I agree. I think that any organization that you join that serves the community is something that we is critical to our own growth and development. Even serving here on the Texas Real Estate Leadership Program, Olga and I have had some great opportunities to have speakers where we've learned so much, and now we're planning this great golf tournament coming up Saturday. So if anyone wants to join us and sponsor that event, that's a great opportunity to be out there and again, it goes back to networking and building those relationships. I think giving back to the community is a must do. We must do that.
Very good. Ilich?
Yeah, definitely. Like Olga was saying, that was one of my pieces that I wanted to do with the board is really build our leadership and not be scared to go out there and speak. I had everybody basically go into their Sasha Fierce for a lot of our events. And if you're a Beyonce fan and we're in Houston, you should know what I'm talking about. You go into your your Sasha Fierce phase, and you get out there and you do it. And I know that some of my board members are really plugging in. And also, if you aren't ready to make the huge commitment with the board, go in and be under a committee. If you like marketing, come on in and help us. If you like planning education stuff, or call one of us, message one of us. All of our socials are we're available on all the socials, and we'll put them in later once we get this is over. Yeah, join and come on in. And also, you don't have to be Hispanic to be in NAHREP.
Yes.
Very good. Somebody
right.
was asking about the pricing for membership, and a few people put in it is $49 to become a standard member or $199 to become platinum. What is can somebody just so we know, what is the difference there of the platinum membership versus the standard?
The platinum membership gives you access to every chapter, and you don't have to pay the out of membership or price for their events. So for example, if you are a member of Houston and you want to go to a Katy event, and I'm just a regular member, I would have to pay the non-member pricing for their event. Or if it's a member exclusive event, because we do have that sometimes as well, I wouldn't be able to attend. But with the platinum membership, I can pay the member pricing, or go to any member exclusive events as well.
Very good. Well, they seem like great prices for a lot of what you're going to get. So
the best price association fees. So
very good.
I'd like to add that the platinum membership also gives you an opportunity to refer business to one another. There is a page just for platinum members where we can refer business from state to state, city to city, across to one another as well.
Excellent. There was a comment that I just wanted to highlight from the State of Hispanic Wealth Report. Or I think it's from the State of Hispanic Homeownership Report, but Veronica just shared, moving forward through 2040, 70% of all new homeowners are expected to be Hispanic. And then she says NAHREP offers ongoing reports that share this information. And again, I think that just reiterates the importance of groups like these and programs like this so that we can all stay educated and informed. I don't see any other questions coming in from our live viewers, but again, just a lot of thank yous. There's a thank you with about 7 U's on it at the end, so they really appreciate what you've shared. And I truly thank you again for your time this morning. This has been wonderful. So was there any other last thoughts that you had?
For me, it would be closing the wealth gap. According to the recent conference that we just attended, we've learned that one area that the Hispanic community needs to work on and develop further is planning for retirement. You know, if they're in 2019 they were making 36,000, and now in 2022 they're making 60,000. We are not really prepared to retire.
Hmm.
So diversifying is huge. And so when you think about real estate, also think about not buying just your primary home, but even considering a second home for rental opportunities or some type of diversification and planning for the future.
Very good.
Mhm.
All right. Well, with that, thank you again all for your time this morning. We truly appreciate it. And our members, like I said, they are appreciating it as well. That is it for this Member Focus Monday. We will be back next Monday at 9 a.m. So be sure to tune in. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.